braids. You settle deeper beneath the thick furs, pulling them close against your chin. The hide smells of smoke and musk, faintly of damp earth braids. The fire crackles nearby, burning low on a mixture of dried pine and crumbled moss, fed carefully so it will last through the night braids. Your breath fogs in the chill of the cave, drifting upward into the dark stone ceiling. Even here, inside shelter braids, the ice age cold seeps in at the edges. Winter is never far, the others settle too. 25 people, your band, your world braids. Their murmurs fade into softer tones as night gathers. A woman sharpens a flint blade, the scraping sound steady and soothing braids. Children nestle into the crook of their mother's arms, eyelids fluttering. Someone stirs a pot near the coals, reindeer broth thick with marrow braids. The smell rich and fatty. It lingers in the air, mixing with the tang of smoke that clings to every fur, every hair braids, every bone needle threaded with sinew. You lie still, listening. The fire pops, sending a brief spray of sparks against stone. Beyond the cave mouth braids. The valley exhales a different sound. The slow hiss of wind over ice. The distant creak of trees weighed down with snow. Wolves are out there braids. You imagine their paws pressing into the white crust, their noses tipped up to scent what might be taken. The pack is always watching, always near braids. This has been your life since birth, caves when the stone opens to you, hide frames lashed together when the band must move on. Always the fire braids, tended by careful hands, always food prepared in small pieces shared without waste. You know every face, every voice, at night braids. You can recognize them by their cough, their laughter, even by the sound of someone shifting in their furs. Tonight, though, braids. Something feels taut beneath the quiet. The dried meat stores hang near the back of the cave, strung on sinew cord. Not as full as last year, braids. You notice. The autumn hunt was meager. Herds of reindeer had shifted farther north, following the grasses along the glacier edge, braids. You overheard your father whisper it to your mother 2 nights ago. This winter may be harder than the last, braids. A successful mammoth hunt is no longer a hope. It is a necessity. You breathe deeply, letting the warmth of the fire soak into your bones, braids. The furs scratch at your cheek. Your heart beats faster when you think of tomorrow, though nothing has yet been promised. You are 17. No longer a child who tends fires or scrapes hides. You are a hunter, in training. This is the first year you will join the ritual, braids. The one painted in ochre and smoke before the band goes out together against the great beasts. You close your eyes, but the images will not rest, braids. You see the caves deeper in the valley, walls alive with shapes of bison and horses. You remember being led there as a boy, braids. The lamps filled with animal fat casting wavering light on ochre lines that seemed to move with the flicker, braids. Your shaman's chants had filled the hollow space, voice rising and falling in strange rhythms, braids. The smell of burning marrow fat had clung to you for days. It was said those painted shapes gave strength to the hunts, pulling spirit from stone into spear. Tomorrow they will lead you there again. This time you will not only watch. The night deepens. Someone hums softly, a lullaby for the children. The notes drift like smoke, simple and low. You wonder what tomorrow will bring, braids. What it will feel like to hold the atlatl in both hands, flint point ready, as the great animal thunders against the snow. Morning comes slow, grey and cold. The fire is down to coals, faintly glowing in their bed of ash. Breath fog fills the air with every stir of movement, braids. You stretch stiffly, shoulders aching from the night chill. Outside the cave mouth, the valley is pale with frost, braids. The river running black and hard between its banks. Your father is already awake, sharpening a spear point with practiced movements, braids. The sound of flint against stone carries through the chamber. He does not speak, only glances at you, then back to his work. There is pride there, braids, but also a kind of weight you cannot name. Others prepare as well. Bond needles click softly as women sew strips of hide into thicker coverings, braids. A girl not much younger than you threads beads of seashell onto a cord, traded from tribes far south, where the sea lies beyond your knowing, braids. Those beads will be tied into hair before the ritual begins, symbols of favor and continuity. The shaman stirs near the far wall, braids. His face is painted already in lines of red ochre, his hair bound with strips of sinew. He feeds a bundle of dried moss into the rekindled fire, murmuring words beneath his breath. His eyes are distant, unfocused, as though listening to something beyond the cave itself. You chew on a strip of dried meat. The taste is tough, salted with ash. It fills your stomach only a little. You wonder how much is left in the bundles. Enough for a week, maybe 2. Beyond that, the winter presses waiting. Later that day, you gather wood from the valley floor. Your fingers burn with cold as you strip bark, stack branches against your arm. Every step crunches on frost-hardened earth. Across the river, tracks cut into the snow, reindeer 2 days old at most. You pause studying them. They are headed north, always north. You think of the stories told around fire, herds so vast the earth trembles, reindeer by the hundreds, moving in lines longer than the valley itself. You have never seen such numbers. Your father has. He says it was different before the winters deepened, before the cold pushed everything farther away. You return with your bundle. The smell of smoke greets you first, then the sight of your band, gathered close. Children tug at sticks in the fire. Your mother ladles broth into a carved wooden bowl, steam curling upward in the icy air. You sit. You eat. The taste is thin, more water than fat. Yet it warms your belly, and that is enough. That evening, you notice it again, the tension. It moves quietly through the group, unspoken but shared. A cough lingers longer than it should from one of the elders. The stores hang light. Every gesture seems edged with waiting. As the sun falls and the cave darkens, the shaman speaks at last. His voice is low, rough with age, but steady. He names the ancestors, the ones who walked this valley before you, who painted the walls and left their handprints in red ochre. He says the time is near. The great ritual will come. The spirits will be asked once more for strength, for the herd, for life. You feel the words in your chest, a thrum that is both fear and hunger. Tomorrow, perhaps, or the next, soon. Night returns. You lie beneath your furs again. The fire's glow painting faint shapes on stone. The smell of smoke is thick, and the air tastes of ash. Outside, the wind rises, pushing a thin whistle into the cave mouth. You breathe slowly, trying to match the rhythm of those already asleep around you. But your eyes stay open. You see again the painted walls, the red lines moving in lamplight. You hear the shaman's chant echo against stone. You imagine the mammoth rising in your mind's eye, tusks curved like crescents of bone, massive shoulders shaking snow from trees as it passes. The night is long. Tomorrow or soon, you will step into that circle of light. You will raise your voice with the others. You will ask the spirits for favor, for strength, for survival. For now you wait, wrapped in fur, listening to the fire sigh. You let your eyes close at last. The cold presses against your face, but beneath the weight of smoke and stone, you drift into sleep. Morning breaks with a muted glow. Not sunrise as you know it in warmer months, but a pale seep of light across the cave mouth. Filtered by clouds heavy with snow. The air feels sharp as flint against your lungs when you draw in a breath. You push back the furs, stretch stiff limbs, and sit upright. Frost has crept across the edges of your cloak, where your breath froze in the night. You hear the faint sound of scraping stone. Your father is sharpening again, always sharpening. Flint against flint, the rhythm steady, almost meditative, a ritual of its own. The fire has been coaxed back to life with dried dung and thin twigs. The smoke clings low, stinging your eyes until they water. You wipe them with the back of your hand and chew another strip of dried meat, leathery and sour on your tongue. Today feels different. The shaman stands at the far end of the cave, his body painted in fresh ochre, crimson lines curling across his chest and shoulders. His hair has been dusted with white ash, giving him a ghost-like sheen. In one hand, he carries a carved antler staff tipped with feathers and beads. In the other, a hollow bone flute. His eyes are distant, but when they land on you, it feels as if the weight of the valley itself presses on your chest. He says nothing at first. He only begins to hum, a low, trembling sound that seems to rise from deep within his ribs. The cave grows quieter as the others turn to listen. Even the children stop their chatter. The hum builds slowly, then falls echoing off stone. It is the sound of something older than words, rates. Older than the band, older perhaps than memory itself. When he finally speaks, his voice is rough but clear, rates. The time is here. The words ripple through the band. Some close their eyes in silent acknowledgement. Others glance at the fire, rates, or at the bundles of spears laid near the wall. Your heart stirs, uncertain whether to race or still. The shaman continues, rates. He speaks of the ancestors whose red handprints line the walls of hidden caves, rates. He speaks of the great herds that once thundered through the valleys in numbers, so vast they darkened the plains, rates. He tells of how the spirits of animals and hunters entwine, how one cannot exist without the other. You listen, unmoving, rates. Each syllable feels carved into stone. Then he turns toward you. Kale, he says. Your name is old on his tongue, rates, stretched like hide in the smoke. You will join us tonight, into the deep chamber, into the firelight and ochre. You will ask with your own breath. Your throat tightens. All eyes shift toward you. Your father says nothing, though his gaze is steady, rates. Your mother rests a hand against her knee, watching, waiting. The others are silent. You nod once. The shaman's eyes narrow, satisfied. The spark has come. The rest of the day becomes preparation. Women grind ochre with stone, rates, mixing the red powder with animal fat until it gleams like wet blood. They pour it into hollow bones capped with moss. Brushes made from stiff hairs tied with sinew. Men shape spears, carving grooves in flint points to catch against bone. Every tool has its place. Nothing is wasted. You help where you can, carrying bundles of wood, tying cords of sinew tight around shafts. Your father shows you how to balance a spear, resting it lightly on your palm until you find its center. He does not speak much. His silence is heavy, but not unkind. At midday, a small meal is shared, fish roasted on sticks, caught from the Black River. The smell is strong, oily, rates, filling your nose as you bite into charred skin. You eat quickly, mindful of how little there is. A single mammoth can feed the band for weeks, rates, but only if the hunt succeeds. Failure is a word no one speaks aloud. The cold deepens as the light fades. The valley grows hushed, rates, the snow muffling sound. You see fresh tracks near the riverbank, wolf prints close to camp, rates. The shaman mutters that the animals draw near when the veil thins, when the spirits gather. By nightfall, the band is ready, rates. The procession begins in silence. Torches are lit, bundles of pine wrapped in resin, soaked bark, flames sputtering but steady in the wind, rates. The smell of burning resin is thick, sweet and acrid at once. Shadows leap across the limestone walls as you descend into the valley, rates, following the curve of rock where an opening yawns dark against the snow. The cave mouth is wide, but soon the passage narrows, rates, pressing you into the stone. The floor is slick, worn by countless feet over generations. The air cools further, damp and heavy, rates. You hear the drip of water somewhere ahead, the slow heartbeat of the earth. Animal, fat lamps are lit, shallow stone bowls filled with grease. Their light is dim, golden, flickering against walls that begin to come alive. Shapes emerge. Horses, bison, reindeer, painted in ochre and charcoal. Some outlined in black, others shaded with red, their bodies swelling as if they breathe. A mammoth, tusks curling wide. A woolly rhinoceros, rates, massive shoulders hunched. The lines are simple but powerful, placed to capture movement. When the torchlight shifts, they seem to walk. You inhale sharply. The air tastes of fat smoke and damp stone. The smell is thick, pressing into your throat. The shaman begins to chant, low and rhythmic. His staff strikes the ground with each beat, feathers trembling in the torchlight. Others join with murmurs, rates, voices weaving into a hum that fills the chamber. He motions for you to step forward. Your legs are unsteady as you move, torchlight dancing on your face. He places a brush of stiff hair in your hand, dipped in ochre. His eyes fix on yours. Breathe, he whispers, rates. Cull them. Your hand trembles as you raise the brush to the wall. The stone is cold beneath your touch. You draw a line, red against grey, then another. Slowly, the shape of an antler forms beneath your hand. The line curves uneven but alive. The hum swells behind you, rates. You feel the weight of the band's breath, their faith pressing against your back. You paint not for yourself but for them. For the hunt, for survival. When the shape is done, you step back, The shaman raises his staff high, then lowers it, rates, voice rising into a cry that echoes through stone. The chamber shudders with sound. The ritual has begun. The night stretches on in flickering lights. Men drum with hands against stone. Women sway, hair catching sparks of torchlight. Children watch wide-eyed, clutching furs around their shoulders. The smell of sweat mingles with smoke, thick and close. The shaman leads a dance, slow at first, then faster, feet pounding against stones. His voice rises and falls, words not meant to be understood but felt. He shakes his staff, beads rattling, feathers trembling, rates. You are swept into the circle, your body moving with theirs, uncertain at first, then carried by rhythm. Your breath quickens, rates. Heat builds in your chest despite the cold. For a moment you feel as though the animals painted on the walls truly move, stepping forward from stone to join you. The shaman collapses to his knees, trembling. His eyes roll upward, his breath ragged. He mutters, hands clawing at the air as if pulling something unseen. The others watch, silent now, breath held. He is between worlds, they believe, rates, speaking with spirits, guiding the hunt yet to come. When he rises again, his face is streaked with sweat and ash. He points toward the painted mammoth, tusks gleaming red in torchlight. There, he says. His voice cracks but holds. The herd is waiting, rates, the spirits are with us. A murmur ripples through the band. Relief, hope, fear, all woven together. You stand still, chest heaving, rates. The weight of the moment settles on you like a stone. For the first time you understand the enormity of it. Tomorrow, or the next day, rates, you will stand in the snow with spear in hand. The survival of 25 souls may hinge on whether you can strike true. The ritual ends in silence, rates. Torches gutter low, lamps are extinguished one by one, smoke curling into the air. The chamber falls back into darkness, rates. The painted walls retreating into shadow. You walk back through the passage, your body heavy, legs weak from dancing. The cold outside bites deep after the close heat of the cave. Snow drifts against your ankles. The stars above are sharp, piercing, endless, rates. No one speaks as you return to camp. Only the crunch of feet on frozen ground, the faint hiss of wind. When you lie beneath your furs again, rates, the images burn behind your eyelids. The red line of the antler, the mammoth's tusks, the shaman's cry echoing off stone. Sleep comes slowly, rates, restless and full of shapes that move in the dark. You dream of snow beneath your feet, of spears flying, of shadows that breathe, rates. The spark has been lit, and nothing will be the same again. The next morning dawns pale, without warmth, rates. The cave mouth frames a horizon washed in grey, where clouds hang low like heavy hides stretched across the sky, rates. The snow has fallen lightly in the night, dusting the valley in fresh powder. Your breath smokes as you rise, every joint stiff from cold, rates. The fire at the cave's center is a small cluster of coals, coaxed back into life by your mother's steady hands, rates. She blows gently into moss held between her fingers, feeding ember into flame. You join the others in silence, rates. Today should feel triumphant. Last night's ritual has called the herd, promised their nearness. Yet the air seems burdened, rates, as if something unspoken weighs more than the stone walls around you. Your father straps his spear to his back, movements precise, rates. His face is unreadable, but when he glances at you, there is the faintest crease in his brow, as though he carries more than he admits, rates. You chew dried berries mixed with nut paste, the taste sharp and bitter on your tongue. The food is scarce, the portion small, rates. Hunger gnaws at you even as you swallow. Across the fire, your cousin Marek clears his throat. He is older by 3 winters, broad in the shoulders, rates. His hands scarred from years of hunt. His gaze lingers on you longer than it should. Finally, he speaks, rates. Kale is not ready. The words fall like stone into silence, heads turn. You feel your chest tighten. Marek does not look away, rates. His voice is calm, but edged. The spirits may call him, but a painted wall does not strike down a mammoth, rates. He has not yet carried the weight of the atlatl in the snow, rates. He has not felt the ground shudder beneath a charging beast. Your father's jaw tightens. He will learn, rates. He must. He could die, Marek says simply, and his death could bring others with it. One mistake, one broken line, the herd scatters, rates. The kill is lost and 25 go hungry. The fire crackles, No one moves. The truth of it is sharp. You know Marek is not cruel. He speaks what others may think but do not dare say aloud. The risk is real. Your mother looks at you then, Brates, eyes soft but wet at the edges. She does not speak, but her silence says enough. She carries both pride and fear in equal measure. You want to answer, to defend yourself, but your throat is dry. The weight of all their eyes presses against you. Finally, your father speaks, voice low, Brates. Every hunter takes his first step. Mine was no different, nor was yours, Marek. Marek exhales through his nose. A cloud of mist rising in the cold air. He says no more, but the doubt lingers, coiling like smoke through the band. The day stretches on, Brates, filled with quiet tasks. You scrape a hide with a flint blade, the rough sounds steady against the stone. Your fingers ache with the work, Brates, but it keeps your thoughts from racing. Around you, others sew, mend, sharpen. Each task done not for comfort, but for survival. When you pause, Brates, you notice Marek watching you again. He does not sneer or smile, only studies as though measuring you against some unseen line. Later, Brates, when the band disperses to gather wood and water, he approaches. His shadow falls across your work. You think I speak against you, he says softly, low enough that others cannot hear. But I speak for you. You look up, unsure. Brates, I was 17 once, he continues. I thought courage would be enough, is not. A spear can slip. A hand can falter, Brates. When the mammoth charges, the earth breaks beneath you. There is no time to think, only to move, Brates. And if you cannot move fast enough, he trails off, gaze turning toward the valley. You picture it. The beast thundering forwards, snow spraying in great plumes, tusks curved like ivory scythers, the ground trembling, breath steaming from its nostrils. The image is heavy, crushing, Brates. You are not weak, Kyle, Marek says, almost gently. But I have seen men stronger than you fall, Brates. I will not see your mother grieve. His words cut deep, sharper than flint. You want to tell him you are ready, that the spirits would not have called you if you were not. But doubt lingers, gnawing at the edges of your resolve. That evening, Brates, the shaman returns to the fire. His face is lined with fatigue, the ritual having drained him. Yet his voice is steady when he speaks. The spirits have spoken, he says. The herd draws near. Their path follows the frozen river. Within days, Brates, they will cross the valley. A murmur rises from the band. Relief mixed with fear. The hunt is close. Your father nods, his jaw firm, Brates. Marek's gaze flicks toward you again, unreadable. The shaman raises his staff. Every hand will be needed. Every voice. Every spear. Even the youngest must carry their place. His words are final, heavy as stone. The murmurs fade. The decision is set. Yet later, Brates, as you lie beneath your furs, the doubt lingers. Marek's words echo in your mind. One mistake, one broken line, sleep comes, but it is restless. In dreams you see the mammoth again, tusks gleaming red. You raise your spear, but your hand slips. The beast charges. The ground splits. The band scatters, and you fall. You wake with a start, breath ragged, heart hammering. The fire has burned low. The cave is quiet, Brates. Yet the fear clings like smoke, refusing to leave. The next day, the pushback takes another form. Your mother asks you to sit beside her as she works, Brates, threading sinew through hide with a bone needle. The air is thick with the smell of smoke and tallow. You are strong, she says softly, eyes fixed on her work, stronger than you know. You wait, knowing more is coming. But strength is not only in the arms, it is in knowing when to stand and when to step aside. She glances at you, her gaze tender but weighted. I fear the spirits ask too much, Brates, too soon. Her words sting though spoken with love. You swallow, throat tight. I cannot step aside, Brates. The shaman called me. Her hands still for a moment. She exhales slowly, then nods though sorrow lingers in her eyes, Brates. Then promise me this, she says. If the moment comes when fear grips you, if your body falters, do not fight alone. Stay with the others. Do not break the line. You nod, though uncertainty coils in your stomach. That night, the band gathers again near the fire. Plans are spoken, Brates. Where to drive the herd, where the hunters will stand, how the spears will fly in unison. Each word is measured, each detail carried like stone, Brates. Marek sits across from you silent. Your father speaks little, only nodding, sharpening his spear. The shaman's eyes flick toward you now and then, as though guiding your resolve. When the fire burns low and the band drifts into sleep, you remain awake. The cave is quiet, save for the hiss of embers and the distant wind outside. You think of Marek's words, of your mother's plea, of the shaman's calls. Doubt gnaws at you, sharp as hunger, yet beneath it something else stirs, an ember of resolve, faint but real. You know the hunt will come, You know you will stand with them. Whether ready or not, the path has been set. For now, you close your eyes, letting the weight of fur press you down, letting the smoke soothe your thoughts. Tomorrow may bring fear, but tonight, you rest in the quiet rhythm of the fire. The morning is sharp with cold, the kind that cuts into your bones before you even step outside, You rise before most of the band stirs. The fire is low, embers pulsing like the breath of some sleeping beast. Only the shaman is awake, sitting cross-legged near the ashes, his staff across his knees. He watches you with eyes that seem older than the stone walls around him, You do not sleep, he says, his voice little more than a whisper. You shake your head, dreams. He nods as though he already knew, He gestures toward the passage that leads deeper into the cave. Then walk with me. Let us ask the dark what it shows. You hesitate, but your feet obey. The air grows colder as you follow him, shadows stretching long in the lamplight of his tallow flames. You pass walls etched with figures, red ochre stags leaping, black bison charging, handprints pressed by people long dead. Each mark feels alive, breathing with the stone. At last you reach a chamber small and round, the ceiling low. The shaman kneels, placing the lamp in a hollow, Its glow flickers against the damp rock, and shadows leap like restless spirits. He motions for you to sit. Close your eyes, he says. Tell me what you see. You do. At first there is only blackness. Then the memory of Marek's words, sharp as spear, tips one mistake, One broken line. Your mother's plea, stay with the others. And beyond them, the thunder of hooves, the ground quaking, tusks gleaming. But the image shifts. You see yourself standing in snow, spear raised, the herd before you. Fear churns in your chest, yet something anchors you. The band around you, voices shouting, spears flying. You are not alone. You never were. You open your eyes. The shaman studies you, head tilted. What did you see? That I am afraid. You admit. The words burn your throat, But the line does not stand without me. The shaman's mouth curves into something like a smile. He dips his fingers into a pouch at his belt, pulling forth ochre dust. With a slow gesture, he smears the red across your brow. The touch is cool, gritty. Then the decision is made. He murmurs. Fear is the spear's shadow. It always walks with us. Only the fool denies it. The hunter carries it, and throws anyway. His hand lingers on your shoulder. Tomorrow, when the herd comes, you will stand, and you will know that the line holds because you are in it. When you return to the main cavern, the others are waking, Smoke curls as fresh wood is placed on the fire, and the smell of tallow fills the air. Marek sits sharpening his flint, his eyes flicking up when you enter. He says nothing, but his gaze lingers, softer now, almost questioning. You take your place beside your father, He is binding sinew around his spearhead, testing the haft. His hands are steady, practiced. Without looking up, he says, You were with the shaman, Wes. And now, you grip your own spear, feeling the weight of flint and wood. Your hand no longer trembles. I will stand. At last, your father looks at you. His eyes, usually hard as stone, glimmer with something unspoken, pride, perhaps, or relief. He gives a single nod, nothing more. The day becomes a blur of preparation, Hunters test their atlals, the curved wooden throwers that give their spears deadly force, The snap of sinew and the hiss of wood cut through the cave as shafts fly into snowbanks, embedding deep. Children gather dried moss and dung for fires. Women stretch hides over frames, sewing patches with bone needles, their fingers raw but tireless. You work beside them, mending the thong that binds your spearhead. Every scrape of stone against flint, every twist of sinew, becomes part of your decision. Later, The band gathers for one final feast before the hunts. The meat is thin, dried strips of reindeer and marrow scooped from brittle bones, but shared with reverence. Each bite feels like a vow, a promise that this hunger will soon be fed by the herd. Marek sits across from you again. His eyes meet yours, and for the first time, he does not look away. After a long silence, he says, "Do not falter, cousin." "I will not," you reply. He studies you a moment longer, then nods almost grudgingly. It is the closest he will give to blessing. That night, the ritual fire burns higher than ever, The shaman chants until his voice is hoarse, his staff rising and falling in rhythm with the drumbeat of sticks against stone. The band joins in, voices weaving together, echoing through the cave. You stand among them, the ochre still faint on your brow, and feel the heat on your skin, The rhythm pulses through your chest, chasing away the last of doubt. For the first time, you do not imagine yourself breaking the lines. You imagine yourself holding it. The flames leap, painting the walls with shadows of mammoth, bison, and hunters dancing across the stone. You know then that this is more than survival. This is belonging. Dawn comes sharp and merciless. The band moves as one, leaving the cave and following the frozen river. The valley stretches wide, snow crunching beneath your boots of hide. Breath rises in thick clouds, spears clutched in ready hands. Your father walks ahead, his steps measured. Marek is close by, scanning the horizon. The shaman brings up the rear, murmuring chants to the spirits, staff tapping against the ice. You feel the weight of your spear, the sling of the atlatl against your wrist. Each step you take is a step further into the choice you made. At a bend in the river, the hunters stop. Tracks press into the snow. Deep, round, heavy, mammoth, fresh. Your heart pounds as you crouch to touch the imprint. The ground still holds the heat of its passage. They are near, your father whispers. The band spreads out, moving into the forested ridge above the valley. You take your place in the line, heart racing, but your hands steady. Below, through the thin veil of trees, movement stirs. The herd emerges, giants of fur and tusk, their backs dusted with snow, their trunks sweeping the ground. They move with a slow majesty, each step shaking the earth. Gasps rise from the hunters, but no one falters. This is the moment the spirits promised. Your father raises his hand, a silent signal. The band stiffens, spears ready. The decision you made last night becomes real in your chest. There is no more room for doubt. You will stand. The herd lumbers into the open, moving toward the frozen river crossing. The plan is simple. Drive them into the snowdrifts where their weight will trap them. Then strike together, spears flying like rains. You glance down the line. Marek is 2 places to your right, jaw clenched. Your father is ahead, spear raised. The shaman murmurs behind you, voice low but steady, and then the signal comes. Your father cries out, the sound raw and piercing. The hunters surge forward, voices joining his. Stones clatter against bark, branches snap, spears rise. The herd bellows, trumpeting in alarm, and the valley shakes with their thunder. One breaks toward the drifts, snow flying beneath its massive feet. The hunters press in, driving it further. Your pulse hammers. The air is filled with steam shouts, the thunder of hooves. This is no dream. This is real. The mammoth rears, trumpeting, tusks slashing the air. Hunters close around it, spears ready. And you, Kel, son of hunters, marked by ochre and choice, lift your atlal, the spear not trembling in your hand. The morning breaks pale and cold, light spreading weakly across the valley. Your breath rises in thick clouds as you step from the cave into the bite of winter air. The world feels hushed, as though it too waits for what is to come. Before the band moves toward the herd, there is work to be done. Hunting giants is not a moment of sudden bravery, but a long, steady discipline of preparation. You begin with the weapons. Each hunter inspects his spears, running fingers along the ash shafts. Flint tips, chipped sharp as ice, are tested against leather to ensure they bite. The edges gleam faintly in the weak sun, black and grey, napped from stones traded across valleys. A spearhead takes hours to shape, and more hours still to bind. Sinew stretched, twisted, dried, wrapped so tightly it hardens like bone. Your father shows you the way. He checks the binding, tugging, twisting, pressing with his thumb until the flint refuses to budge. He hands the spear to you. Do the same, he says. You press the tip, feel the give of sinew, the stubborn refusal of stone to loosen. Rhett holds. He grunts approval. It must. One slip, and you carry nothing but wood. Beside you, Marek works silently. Rates. He sharpens the notch of his atlal, that curved thrower of wood that grants the arm the power of giants. He tests the balance, flicks it forward. Rates. The shaft hissing through air before sinking deep into a snowbank. He retrieves it and does it again, lips tight with focus. You imitate him. Rates. Knocking your own spear into the thrower. The weight feels foreign at first, the balance precarious. Rates. But after several tries, the movement begins to settle into your body. Arm back, wrist taut, shoulder following through. Rates. The spear whistles when released, embedding itself in ice. Not as deep as Marek's, but enough to pierce hide. He watches you without a word. Rates. His eyes narrow, but this time he does not smirk. Later the women bring forth the packs, woven frames of wood and hide straps, ready to be carried. Rates. Into them go strips of dried reindeer meat, brittle and thin as bark, each one chewed carefully to test its toughness. Fat lumps wrapped in hide. Rates. Rendered from marrow, to be eaten when warmth and strength are needed most. Nuts, berries hardened by frost, bundled into leather pouches. Rates. Each piece measured, divided. Enough to last a few days in the field, though always with risk of running thin. You help to bind the food. Rates. Folding the hide tight. The smell of dried fat clings to your hands, heavy and sour. Rates. You know its worth. One lump of tallow enough to keep a hunter walking through cold for hours. Beside the food, other tools are gathered. Rates. Bone needles for mending, stone scrapers for hides, fire kits of flint and dried moss packed carefully in carved antler boxes. A single spark might mean survival. Dung dried to near stone is bundled too. It burns slow, hotter than wood alone. Nothing is wasted. Rates. Nothing left behind. Midday, the shaman walks among the hunters. His staff is bound with feathers and beads. Rates. Gifts of shells brought from coasts no one in your band has ever seen. They are bright against the grey of his furs. Rates. Tokens of trade that stretch across lands wider than any single journey. He places his hand on each hunter's head. Rates. Muttering words too low to follow. When his hand comes to you, his fingers are cold, the ochre on his skin leaving faint red marks on your hair. Rates. His chant is soft, almost like breath. Carry not only stone, but the spirits of those who walked before. You nod, heart tight, and he moves on. Rates. In the afternoon, you sit with your father as he works a final piece of flint. His hands are slow, sure, each strike deliberate. Chips fall into the snow, glittering like ice. He does not look at you when he speaks. Rates. My father taught me to hunt mammoth when I was no older than you, he says. He told me, do not think of the beast as a mountain. Rates. Think of it as meat, as bone. Cut the mountain down, one strike at a time. You watch the flint take shape, edges clear and sharp. Rates. And did you fear it? He pauses, blows the dust from the stone. His voice is low when he answers. Rates. Every time. He hands you the finished point. Fear keeps the hand from growing careless. You turn the flint in your palm. Rates. Its edges biting gently at your skin. You slip it into your pouch, a promise waiting to be bound. As dusk gathers. Rates. The camp prepares the last meal before departure. A stew of marrow and roots simmers in a hide pot over the fire, the smell earthy and rich. The smoke curls upward, filling the cave with warmth. The hunters sit close, eating in silence, each one caught in thought. Tomorrow, the band will face creatures taller than trees, tusks long as 3 men. Tomorrow, the line will be tested. Marek sits across from you. Between bites of meat, he finally speaks. When the moment comes, Kyle, do not throw too soon. Wait until you see the breath on its hide. Rates. That is how you know you are close enough. It is not mockery this time. It is advice. You nod, meeting his eyes. Rates. I will wait. For the first time, he does not look away. When the meal is finished, packs are tied, weapons stacked near the entrance. Each spear checked again, each sling of sinew retested. The fire is stoked, but not too high. Wood is precious, and much must be saved for the return. Rates. You curl into your furs, the smell of smoke heavy in the air, warmth pressed close around you. The cave walls breathe with the flicker of firelight rates, and the painted shapes of animals seem to move with it, bison tossing their heads, deer leaping across stone. Sleep does not come easily, rates. Your body hums with the rhythm of the day's labor, with the anticipation of tomorrow. But as your eyes close at last, rates, you feel the weight of the flint point in your pouch, the memory of your father's words, the steady echo of Marek's warning. The line is ready, rates, and in your chest so are you. Night settles deep across the valley. The last glow of day fades behind the limestone cliffs, rates, leaving the world washed in shades of blue and grey. The cave breathes with the warmth of the fire, but outside the wind whistles sharp and cold, rates, carrying with it the promise of snow. Tomorrow you will leave with the hunters to seek the herd. Tonight belongs to family, rates, to the ones who wait behind. Your mother is the first to draw you aside. She stands near the cave mouth, rates, where the wind snakes through and lifts the edges of her furs. In the faint firelight, her face is half shadow, half glow, rates, the lines of worry etched clearly in her brow. She places her hands on your shoulders. They are small against the bulk of the hide you wear, rates, but steady, grounding. For a moment she says nothing, only studies your face, as though she is trying to fix the shape of it in her memory, rates. You look like your father, she murmurs at last. Her voice is soft, carried only to you. But your eyes, they are mine, rates. Do not close them to what you see. The beast, yes, but also the world around it. The ground, the snow, the other hunters, rates. Do not forget them in your fear. You nod, throat tight. Her hands linger, then slip to her pouch. From it she pulls a small strip of leather, rates, worn smooth by years of touch. A bead of shell hangs from it, pale and luminous, drilled with a careful hole, rates. This was given to me when I was no older than you, she says. A gift from my mother, from the coast where the waves never rest. It is older than I am, perhaps older than you will ever be. Carry it with you. If you fall, rates, let the spirits know you belong to someone. She ties it around your wrist, the bead cool against your skin. You press your hand over it, feeling its weight, light yet anchoring. Thank you, you whisper. Her fingers brush your cheek. Come back to me, Kyle, rates. That is all I ask. Not long after, your younger sister appears, her hair tangled from the smoke of the fire, her cheeks smudged with ash, rates. She clutches something in her fist and shuffles from one foot to the other, uncertain. What is it? You ask, rates, crouching so your eyes are level with hers. She opens her hand to reveal a tiny bone figure. A reindeer, its legs uneven, rates, its antlers little more than scratches. The carving is crude, rates, but you recognize the hours she must have spent worrying at it with a dull flake of stone. It's for you, she says, rates, voice barely louder than the fire's crackle. So you remember us. You take it gently, the bone warm from her palm. I could not forget you, rates, even without this. Still, you tuck the little reindeer into your pouch, beside the flint point your father gave you. 2 tokens now, rates, both humming with memory, both pulling you homeward. Your sister leans against you for a moment, rates, her small body warm against the chill that creeps at the cave mouth. She smells of smoke and dried meat. When she steps back, her eyes are shining, rates. She does not speak again, but you see the hope in her gaze, fierce and fragile all at once. Later, by the fire, you sit with your father, rates. The others gather close around their own embers, eating what little is left of the evening meal. The marrow stew has been stretched thin, rates, shared among all, and the smell of bones cracked for the last scraps of fat lingers in the air. Your father sharpens a flake of flint, rates, though the spear beside him is already perfect. His hands move out of habit, giving them something to do while his thoughts settle. You chose to stand, he says, not looking at you. It is not a question. I did. Silent stretches filled with the snap of firewood, rates, the rustle of furs. At last he sets the flint aside and reaches into his satchel. From it, he pulls a small antler handle, rates, worn smooth by years of grip. A scraper blade of stone is hafted into one end, the sinew bindings dark with age. This was mine when I first hunted, he says. I carried it to cut hide, to clean meat, to free sinew from bone, rates. It has been sharpened so many times the blade is nearly gone. But still, it works. It has always worked. He places it in your hands, rates. The tool is heavy with use, its surface polished by the sweat of generations. You run your thumb along the binding, imagining all it has cut before. Keep it with you, your father says. Not as a weapon, but as a reminder. The spear kills, but the scraper feeds. Your throat tightens. You nod, unable to find words. He studies you for a long moment. His gaze is sharp but not cold, rates. Then he lifts his hand and rests it briefly on the back of your neck. It is the smallest of gestures, but in it you feel all the weight of his trust, rates. The evening deepens. The shaman moves among the families, his chants softer now, more like a lullaby than a spell, rates. He scatters ochre dust into the fire, and the flames leap red, painting the cave walls with shifting light, rates. Shadows of mammoth and bison seem to stir on the stone, alive for a heartbeat before they fade. The children press close to their mothers, rates, listening with wide eyes. The older hunters sit in silence, each lost to his own thoughts. The smell of smoke thickens, rates, seeping into every fold of hide, every strand of hair. It will follow you into the valley tomorrow. When the fire burns low, rates, you lie beside your family, wrapped in furs. The warmth of bodies presses around you, comforting and close. Yet your mind does not rest, rates. You trace the shell bead on your wrist with your thumb, its surface smooth as water-worn stone. You feel the bone reindeer in your pouch, small and imperfect, and the weight of the old scraper in your hands. Each token carries a piece of them. Mother, sister, father, rates. They will not walk with you tomorrow, but they will be there all the same. Sleep comes slowly, but when it does, it is gentle, rates. You dream not of tusks and thunder, but of home, the fire, the warmth of hands, the voices of those who wait, rates. And when you wake to the grey light of dawn, your heart is heavy, but steady. The farewells have been spoken, the love has been given. Now, rates, the hunter waits. The air inside the cavern is heavy, thick with the musk of damp limestone, and the faint sweetness of animal fat lamps burning low. Shadows crawl along the walls, stretching and twisting as the shaman moves. His body is painted with streaks of red ochre and ash, rates, lines curling like rivers, dots scattered like stars. His breath is slow, but his eyes have gone distant, staring beyond you, beyond the cave, rates, as if into some world you cannot see. You kneel among the others, your knees pressing against the cold stone. The smell of smoke clings to your hair, your furs, your very skin. The shaman begins to hum, deep, chest-borne, a sound like the earth itself groaning under ice, rates. The hum builds until it becomes a chant, broken with sudden bursts of breath, words too old to understand but too powerful to ignore, rates. He shakes a rattle made of bone and pebbles. The rhythm catches in your chest, quickening your heartbeat, pulling you forward, deeper into the moment, rates. The flicker of the lamps brings the painted animals to life. Mammoths rear back, aurochs thunder across the walls, rates. Reindeer leap from shadow into flame. You feel their power as if the very air is alive with them, as if their spirits have been summoned here, rates. Crowding around you in the dark, the shaman's body sways. He bends low, then straightens suddenly, arms outstretched, rates. His voice rises into a shriek that echoes against the stone. Several of the younger children flinch, clutching their mothers, but no one stops him, rates. This is not madness. This is the descent, the journey into the other world. You are told he travels where the spirits dwell, rates. That his soul walks a path through darkness, through fire, through rivers of blood and sky. He seeks their guidance, their blessing for the hunt, rates. Their permission to spill life in order to preserve your own. Without it, the hunt would fail. Your father sits beside you, eyes fixed on the walls, on the painted herds. His hands are folded tight over his knees. His breath is calm, controlled, rates. You wonder if this same ritual carried him when he was your age, when he first joined the men in the chase. The shaman falls to his knees, gasping, rates. His shoulders tremble. His head bows low until his painted hair brushes the floor. The cave goes quiet, but for the crackle of lamp flames, rates. When he lifts his face again, his eyes are rimmed red wide, shining with something both human and not. He speaks slowly, rates, the words breaking in his throat. The herd waits at the river bend. Their path is chosen. but blood will mark the snow before the mammoth falls. A murmur runs through the group. Not of fear, not yet, but of recognition. The spirits always ask for something in return. The shaman lifts a handful of ochre dust and blows it into the air. It drifts like smoke, staining your vision red. You feel your chest tighten, as if you too are being asked for something, though you do not yet know what. When the ritual ends, you step outside with the others into the night. The stars blaze sharp and countless above the valley. The cold bites deeper now, but something inside you feels hotter, restless. The shaman's words cling to you, twisting like shadows. Blood before the fall. You lie awake long after the fire dies low, your father's breathing steady beside you. Every crack of ice in the night makes you wonder, whose blood did the spirits mean? The morning breaks pale and cold. A slow bruising of light across the horizon. The world outside the cave is still. The snow unbroken except for the soft pads of fox tracks that wind into the valley. Your breath rises in white plumes, and every sound seems sharper in the silence. The crunch of a footstep, the creak of hide as someone adjusts their furs, the brittle snap of twigs as men gather what dry wood they can find. The camp is already stirring. Women knot the straps of fur bundles, Children are wrapped tighter against the wind. The air smells of smoke and the bitter tang of dried meat. Your father stands near the fire, spear in hand, testing the haft, eyes scanning the edge as if the weapon might betray him if left unchecked. He glances at you only once, but the look is enough today. You are no longer only watching. Today, you step into the hunt. The others gather too, 15 hunters in all, spears tipped with flint blades so sharp they glint in the morning light. Atlalts hang across their shoulders, carved from antler and smoothed from years of use. One of the elders carries a pouch of ochre and whispers a blessing over the weapons, brushing the red dust across the spear points, a sign that they carry both death and promise. You grip your own spear, the wood rough against your gloves of stitched hide. Your hand trembles, not from cold but from something deeper. The weight of expectation, the nearness of the unknown. The shaman's words echo blood before the fall. The band moves in silence through the forest. Snow muffles your steps, but the air carries sound strangely far, so every cough, every clink of stone against stone seems dangerous. The trees close around you, their branches heavy with ice, dripping as the weak sun rises higher. Ravens follow above, their cries harsh and grating, as if mocking your quiet determination. By midday, the river appears, a frozen ribbon winding through the valley. It gleams in the thin lights, and near its bend the land opens into a wide plain. The hunters pause at the tree line. Across the white expanse, they stand, mammoths, Their size is beyond anything your mind has held before. Towering, shaggy beasts with tusks long as spears, curving like moons out of their faces, Their breath steams in the frigid air, clouds rising from their mouths as they huddle close, great shadows moving slowly against the snow, Calves press against their mothers, sheltered by trunks and tusks. The herd shifts, restless, their bellies deep in the snow as they search for grass beneath the ice. The hunters crouch low, no words are spoken. Hands signal instead. Your father raises 2 fingers, then gestures toward the bend in the river. The plan forms silently, Drive the herd toward the ice, toward thinner ground where weight can betray even giants. Your heart hammers. The cold has numbed your cheeks, but your chest burns hot. You feel the presence of the others at your back. Not just the hunters, but the women, the children, the shaman, All of them depend on what happens here. You take a breath of air so sharp it stings your throat. The flint tip of your spear catches the sun, red with obry dust like a promise. The silence stretches. The mammoths move. The hunters wait. Then your father stands. His arm lifts, steady and deliberate, and the chase begins. You run. The snow resists each stride, heavy and uneven beneath your boots of hide, But the herd is moving, their bulk shaking the ground like distant thunder. The air fills with sound now. The deep bellow of mammoths, the sharp cries of hunters, the crack of spears striking against wood and ice. Ravens wheel overhead, startled into sudden flight. Your lungs burn with the cold. Each breath stabs. But you push forward, spear tight in your hand. The herd surges toward the bends. Massive forms churning the snow into clouds of white powder. Calves stumble, mothers trumpet, tusks slice the air. The sound is everywhere, rates. A storm of life and fear. Your father is ahead, long strides cutting across the plain. He hurls his spear, rates. The atlatl snapping forward with a sharp crack, and the flint blade vanishes into a flank. A mammoth roars, tossing its head wildly, rates. But still it runs, blood steaming as it sprays across the snow. You grip your own weapon, but your arm feels heavy, rates, as if the wood has turned to stone. The moment comes, a hiving shoulder just ahead, dark fur bristling, breath rolling in clouds. But your body hesitates. The spear remains unthrown, your muscles frozen by awe and terror. A hand shoves your shoulder, rates. Taran, your father's friend, snarls low, his eyes flashing. Throw, boy! His voice cuts sharp, carried by desperation rather than anger, rates. Then he is past you, his own spear flashing through the air, striking a second beast in the hind leg. The mammoth bellows, rates, its massive frame staggering. You force yourself forward. Your legs feel raw, your breath ragged. Every joint acts with the cold and the strains. Snow clings to your furs, weighing you down, the wet seeping slowly to your skin beneath, rates. You taste blood where your lips split against your teeth when you stumbled. The chase bends toward the river. Hunters flank the herd, waving arms, rates. Calling out, spears flashing in arcs. The mammoths crash toward thinner ice, each step a thunderous crack, rates. You hear it. The deep groan of water beneath the frozen skin, the sharp fracture of splitting ice. Then it happens. One of the smaller mammoths, rates, wounded and bleeding, steps wrong. The ice breaks with a hollow boom, and the beast plunges, water erupting in a violent spray, rates. Its trumpeting scream echoes across the valley, a sound that rattles your chest and leaves your hands trembling. The herd shays. Some scatter back toward the forest, others press on blindly, terrified, slipping and stumbling across the uncertain ground. The hunters follow, rates, their shouts rising into a wild rhythm. You stumble to your knees, the spear clutched tight but useless. Your arms shake with exhaustion. Your throat burns from the cold. Around you, the band pushes harder. Men throwing spears piercing, blood staining the snow a deep red. The air stinks of iron and sweat, heavy and thick. A figure crouches beside you. Old Mara, her hair streaked white, her breath wheezing from the run, rates. She grips your arm firmly, steadying you. Breathe, she says, voice thin but calm. It is not all at once, rates. Even the strongest take small steps. You draw in air, shaky but deep. The cold fills you, sharp and burning, but steadier than before, rates. Around you the chaos rages. Tusks flashing, men falling, beasts thrashing. But Mara's words hold you in place. A still point in the storm, rates. The hunt is not finished. Your body aches, your spirit trembles, but you rise again, snow sliding from your knees. The spear is heavy, rates. But it is still yours to hold. Somewhere in the maelstrom of noise and fear, you know this is only the beginning. The air is thick with steam and blood. Each breath you take carries the heavy stench of iron and wet fur, rates. Snow churns beneath pounding feet, man and beast alike, until the white has become smeared with red and brown, rates. You push forward through the haze, your spear clutched tightly, though your arms ache as if filled with stone. The herd is breaking apart, mammoths stumbling across the treacherous ice. Hunters shout to one another, voices carried ragged over the din. Flint flashes, atlatls crack, rates, and every strike carries the weight of hunger pressing against winter's cold. Then the cry comes, not from a beast, but from a man. You turn, rates. At first you see nothing but the blur of movement, but then you find him, Taran, your father's friend, the man who had urged you to throw, rates. He lies half buried in snow, his leg bent unnaturally beneath him. His spear lies snapped across the ice, its flint point shattered. A mammoth, startled and wounded, had struck him as it passed, tossing him aside as if he were no more than a branch. Your father is already there, crouching low, his hands firm on Taran's shoulders. The older man's breath comes in short, sharp bursts, mist rising quickly in the cold. His eyes search the sky, wide and uncertain, as if trying to fix on something beyond this moment. Around you, the hunt surges on, spears whistle. A mammoth crashes through broken ice. The ground shakes with every strike of hooves. Yet here, in this circle of trampled snow, time feels slower. Your father meets your eyes. For the first time you see doubt in him. A silent truth hangs between you. The hunt demands its price. Mara arrives, her fur cloak flapping in the wind, her face pale beneath streaks of ash. She kneels beside Terran, her hands pressing over the wound at his thigh where blood seeps dark and heavy. She murmurs words you cannot hear, perhaps to him, perhaps to the spirits that hover always at the edges of life and death. Terran grips your father's arm. His voice is hoarse, but steady. Enough, go. Finish it. His eyes flicker to you, and there is the smallest curve of a smile. The boy will learn. Your father's jaw tightens, but he nods. Slowly, he pries Terran's hand from his arm, setting it gently back upon his chest. He rises, spear in hand, and turns once more toward the herd. His steps are heavy, but he does not pause. Mara stays with Terran, She adjusts her cloak to cover him better against the cold, her old hands smoothing the fur, as if it were a blanket meant for sleep. She does not call after the hunters, does not plead. She knows as well as all of you, not everyone will walk back to the cave. You linger, torn between movement and stillness, between fear and duty. Terran's smile lingers in your mind, faint but warm, even as his breath rattles thin in the cold. Then Mara raises her eyes to you, her voice low but clear. Go, Kyle. He has given what he must, Do not waste it. The words strike deep, anchoring something heavy in your chest. You nod, though your throat burns. With a final glance at Terran, his breath already slowing, his face pale against the snow, you turn and run after your father, back into the storm of the hunt. But even as your feet pound across the ice, even as the roar of mammoths drowns the valley, you carry with you a new weight. The cost of meat, of fire, of life itself has shown its face. And you know, though you are young, that you will never forget it. The herd presses on, slower now, their energy draining into the snow. Blood marks the path behind them, a trail of steam rising from dark stains that will freeze hard by nightfall. Each step the hunters take grows heavier, but not from the weight of their spears. Something else lingers in the air, the absence of Terran. The knowledge that a man who laughed beside the fire last night now lies still on the plain. Your father does not speak. His face is set, jaw clenched against grief, but you see the stiffness in his shoulders, the way he carries the spear tighter than before, as if the wood itself might splinter under the force of his grip. The others sense it too. Voices fall to whispers. The hunt continues, but the rhythm has changed. You walk in that silence, your own steps uneven at first. Terran's words echo. The boy will learn, They cut sharp inside you, both a weight and a gift. You do not want his voice to be the last thing you hear of him. You want to carry it forward, so his loss does not dissolve like mist in the valley wind. The cold gnaws at your body, but something else warms you from within. It is not fire, It is not comfort, it is resolve. A steady, quiet current beneath your ribs. One of the younger hunters, Dalen, falters near you, his breath coming in short gasps. He has always been quick to laugh, quicker still to complain. Now he stumbles in the snow, muttering of the cold, of hunger, of fear. You steady him with a hand, surprising even yourself with the strength of the gesture. His eyes flick to yours, uncertain, then soften. He nods and straightens, the complaint fading from his lips. Ahead, the herd slows near a rise where the snow drifts deep, The ground slopes gently downward, funneling the mammoths into a narrow stretch, where trees hem the plain on either side, It is a place chosen by hunters before you, a place where beasts cannot scatter. The elders signal again, their arms moving in deliberate arcs. You mimic the motion, passing it along. No one speaks, but the band seems sharper now, each step measured, each glance purposeful. Even in the stillness, the absence of Terran binds you together. Your father halts at the edge of the drift. He turns, scanning the hunters, his eyes pausing on you. There is no softness in his gaze, but no dismissal either, only recognition. He lifts his spear slightly, and though he says nothing, you understand the moment is coming when you must act, not only follow. The wind shifts, grates, carrying with it the musk of the herd, heavy, earthy, layered with the raw tang of sweat and fur. The smell fills your nose, grounding you, grates. The air is sharp, cutting your throat, yet alive with the sound of beasts shuffling in snow. Ravens gather again above, circling in ragged black arcs against the pale sky. You take in all of it. The cold sting on your cheeks, the creak of leather at your shoulders, the thrum of blood in your ears. You breathe deeply, as Mara told you, and find steadiness in the rhythm. Small steps, one breath at a time, rates. The hunt has taken a friend, but it has also given you a choice: to falter as before, or to move forward carrying more than just your own weight, rates. You grip your spear more firmly. The wood feels alive now, warmed by your hand, its roughness no longer foreign but familiar. The mammoths shift ahead, and the hunters tighten the circle. The moment bends closer, inevitable as the winter itself. And in your chest, Brates, alongside grief, burns a new steadiness, quiet but unyielding. You are Kyle, son of hunters, and now, step by step, you are becoming one, Brates. Settle deeper now. The fire in your mind burns low and steady, like the embers left behind in a hearth after the flame has passed, Brates. The smoke curls upward and drifts into the stillness of night. Just as your thoughts drift into the valley, where the mammoths tread, Brates, take a slow breath. Feel it fill you like cold air rushing into your chest, and let it out again, long and soft, Brates. What unfolds here is not hurried. It moves in its own rhythm, the rhythm of footsteps in snow, of tusks breaking through the white silence, Brates, of hunters who have carried their hunger across miles of frozen earth. The day grows pale as the sun slides higher, though its light is muted, Brates, a distant glow through the pale mist that hovers above the valley. You march behind your father and the others, Brates, the world reduced to the soft crunch of snow underfoot and the faint hiss of the wind weaving through bare branches. Ahead, the mammoths loom, Brates, still moving but slower now, their flanks heaving, their breath pouring like smoke from the caves of their mouths, Brates. The hunters have been driving them for hours. 2, perhaps 3 miles from the bend in the river, maybe more, Brates. Distance is hard to measure in the blurring whiteness, but the land itself tells the story, Brates. The herd's great feet have gouged long trenches in the snow, churned drifts into broken ridges, stained patches with blood, Brates. You see the trail they leave, and you follow, step for step, each footprint of man and beast pressed deep into the frozen ground, Brates. You think of what Mara said, small steps, one breath at a time, and so you keep going. The air smells stronger now, sharp musk, earthy and bitter, Brates, undercut with the metallic tang of blood that no longer steams as quickly in the cold. The herd is tiring, but so are you, Brates. Your thighs ache from the constant effort of lifting through the snow. Your arms feel heavy as stone from gripping the spears. Even your breath comes raw, scouring your throat until each inhale tastes faintly of iron. Yet you do not stop. The band spreads out, Brates, 15 hunters fanning wide across the valley. Your father moves near the front, signaling with swift jerks of his hand, Brates, guiding the herd toward a place he knows. You do not know it yet, but you trust the certainty in his steps, the confidence in his shoulders. The old hunters have seen this land shift and change with each season of ice. They know where to lead such beasts. At last, the ground narrows, Brates. 2 ridges of rock rise out of the snow, their black faces streaked with frost, Brates. The space between them is no wider than 20 paces, enough for mammoths to pass, but not enough for them to scatter into safety. Beyond the ridges, you glimpse the faint glint of a frozen marsh, its surface thin and deceptive, dangerous for heavy feet. This is the place, Brates. Your father lifts his spear and raises 3 fingers. The hunters stop, gathering their breath, Brates, pressing close into the cover of low trees and broken stones. The herd, oblivious, trudges onward toward the bottleneck, Brates. You hear the cracking of branches as they push against the edges of the valley, Brates. Hear the low groans and occasional trumpets that roll through the air like thunder. The elders begin their work. From leather pouches at their belts, Brates, they scatter bits of dried moss and throw small chunks of wood, marking the line where men will stand. Their eyes meet, silent but certain. This is the threshold. Once the herd enters here, there is no turning back, not for them and not for you. You crouch low, your breath shallow, your body humming with cold and fear. You feel your heart beat in your palms, where they grip the shaft of your spear, You watch the shadows of the beasts draw nearer. Each step shakes the ground, rattling through your knees, through your chest, The first mammoth enters the pass, a bull, its shoulders massive, tusks curling forward like pale crescents. It pauses, trunk lifting, tasting the air, its ears flap wide, catching the faint scent of men, of smoke, of danger. For a moment, you think it might turn back, might sound an alarm. But the pressure of the herd behind it drives it forward, and soon more follow, Mothers and calves press into the narrow corridor, their bellies brushing the stone ridges as they move. Your father waits until half the herd has entered. Then his arm lifts, deliberate, steady. The signal. The valley erupts. Men rise from behind stones and trees, their shouts ringing out in unison, spears flashing overhead. Atlatls snap forward, releasing flint-tipped missiles that whistle through the cold air. The first volley strikes the flank of the bull, burying deep into its shoulder. It bellows, the sound splitting the valley, shaking snow loose from branches. The herd surges in panic, pressing forward into the choke of the pass. You rise too, your hand trembling around the wood of your spear. The beast is there, closer than you have ever imagined, its dark eye wide, its hide thick and rippling with blood and fur. It seems too vast to be real, too strong to be harmed. But the others throw again, their voices fierce, their breath steaming like smoke in the cold. You lift your arm. The weight of the spear steadies you. Your heart pounds, your throat burns, your legs ache. But your arm finds its mark. For a moment, time narrows to the length of wood in your grip, to the flint point glinting faintly with red ochre dust. You throw. The atlat cracks, sending the spear forward in a sharp arc. It flies truer than you feared, striking the flank of a younger mammoth, sinking deep into its thick hide. The beast trumpets in pain, stumbling sideways into the rock wall. Blood streams from its wound, dark against the snow. The sound fills you. It is terrible, and yet it sears something new inside you. Fear, yes, but also a kind of grim belonging. For the first time, your spear has joined the circle of life and death. Around you, the hunters press harder. More spears fly, more wounds open. Mammoths scream, their voices carrying across the plain like storms. The ice beyond groans, cracks spider-webbing across its pale surface as the weight of the herd bears down upon it. The ground trembles beneath your knees, A mother and calf struggle at the front, slipping on the slick frost. Hunters close in, their spears thrusting low, their cries urging the beasts forward. Blood sprays, warm against the cold air, spattering across your cheeks, staining your furs. One calf collapses, Its mother stays beside it, swinging her tusks wildly, knocking a hunter to the ground. You see the man scramble, hear his cry as snow and ice crush beneath the massive weight of her feet. Then your father is there, his spear driving hard into her flank. She roars, turning on him, tusks swinging in a deadly arc. For a heartbeat you fear you will see him fall. But others rush in. Dalen, his face pale but determined, two elders with atlatls snapping. And together they drive the mother back, her massive body staggering toward the ice. It breaks. The frozen marsh shatters beneath her weight, water exploding upward in a spray of slush and blood. Her trumpeting scream echoes, long and hollow, as she thrashes, then sinks, dragging the calf beside her. The sound fades slowly, swallowed by the valley, leaving only the ragged breath of hunters and the thin keening of surviving mammoths. The herd scatters now, broken. Some push past the narrow gorge, vanishing into the forest. Others, wounded, stumble into the snow, collapsing with groans that rattle through the frozen air. The hunters follow in small groups, finishing what has begun, ensuring the kill is not wasted. You stand in the aftermath, your chest heaving, your arms weak. Your spear is gone, buried in the side of a fallen beast. The air reeks of blood and musk, of sweat and smoke. Snow is churned to mud beneath your boots, the white ground scarred and red. For a long time, you do not move. You only breathe. Your father approaches at last, his face streaked with blood, his breath heavy but steady. He places a hand on your shoulder, firm and grounding. His eyes meet yours, not proud, not soft but certain. You have crossed something today. Not only the valley, not only the ice rates, but the space between boy and hunter. Around you the others gather. Some murmur prayers of thanks, scattering bits of ochre onto the wounds of the fallen beasts. Others bend low, checking weapons, binding injuries, steadying their breath rates. No one cheers, no one shouts. The silence is heavier than noise, filled with the weight of what has been taken and given. The shaman raises his arms rates, chanting low, his words carried by the wind. He calls to the spirits of the herd, offering gratitude, asking forgiveness. The hunters bow their heads rates, their bodies weary, their hearts raw. You bow yours too, not because you are told, but because you feel the pull of it, the gravity of the moment rates. When you lift your eyes again, the valley is changed. The herd is gone, scattered or fallen. The ground is scarred, marked forever by tusks and spears, by blood and ice. And within you, something is changed too rates. You are not the same boy who hesitated before throwing. You are not the same boy who trembled at the edge of the hunt. You are Kyle rates, who has cast his spear, who has taken his place in the circle of life and death, who now carries not only his own hunger, but the hunger of all rates. The threshold has been crossed. There is no turning back. The bull's death cry lingers long after his body has stilled rates. A heavy silence pressing on the plain. The hunters gather, their shapes dark against the white snow, steam rising from their mouths rates. Their bodies heaving with exhaustion. For a moment no one moves, as if uncertain whether the ground itself has settled rates. Then your father steps forward. His spear is slick with blood, his breath uneven, but his voice carries over the quiet. It is done. Those words unseal the moment. Hunters exhale, shoulders sagging, hands trembling. Some laugh in short, choked bursts rates. Others wipe blood from their faces, leaving streaks of red that mingle with sweat and melting snow. The fallen mammoths lie like mountains broken open, their massive sides heaving one last time before stillness claims them. Steam rises from wounds rates, curling into the icy air. Ravens circle low now, their cries sharp, waiting for their share. You stand rooted, eyes fixed on the bull you struck rates. The shaft of your spear juts from its flesh, feathers darkened with blood. You can scarcely believe it, rates. Your chest feels both empty and full, as if a hollow space has been carved inside you, yet filled with fire. Mara moves forward rates, her staff tipped with feathers and red ochre. She kneels by the bull's head, dipping her fingers into a wound rates. She smears the blood across her cheeks, then onto the beast's brow. Her chant is low, rhythmic, carrying a cadence older than words. The hunters follow. One by one each steps forward, touching blood to skin, murmuring thanks. Some press a hand to the mammoth's flanks, whispering words you cannot hear. Others bow their heads in silence. Your father beckons you. His eyes hold no softness rates. But neither do they hold the cold distance you once feared. Instead, they are steady, searching. He nods toward the bull. Your feet move without hesitation. The steam rolls off the beast in waves, smelling of iron and musk. You kneel. The hide is warm beneath your palm rates, coarse hair stiff with frost and blood. For a long moment you simply breathe, hand pressed to the body rates, chest trembling with something you cannot name. A life ended, a life given. And in that giving, your own life, and the lives of all your people, extended. You whisper a word rates, not even certain if it belongs to the language of your people, or only to the echo of your own heart. Still it leaves your lips, a thank you, a promise. When you rise, Mara dips a finger into the blood again and streaks it across your forehead. Her eyes are bright rates, their depth unsettling yet anchoring. You have entered the circle, she murmurs. The words sink into you like fire into embers. The butchering begins. Flint blades flash as hunters cut into thick hide. The air fills with the wet sounds of flesh parting, tendons snapping. The smell is overwhelming. Hot blood, steaming fat, the musk of organs torn free. Hands work quickly, practiced, each motion purposeful. Hides are flensed to become shelters, sinews pulled for cordage, bones set aside for tools. Nothing will be wasted. You take your place among them, rates. At first your hands shake, slipping on the slick warmth of meat, but your father guides you. He shows you where to cut, rates. how to keep the blade angled so the hide peels clean. His voice is calm, his movements efficient. The work steadies you, gives your trembling focus. Great hours pass. The sky dims toward dusk, the snow deepening in blue shadow. Fires are kindled at the edge of the plain, fed with moss and dung. The warmth is faint, but the glow pushes back the creeping dark. When enough meat is cut free to carry, the hunters bind it with hide thongs, lashing heavy loads across shoulders and sled frames. Children and elders will come tomorrow to help bring the rest. Tonight, only what is needed will be carried back. The ritual continues. Mara sprinkles ochre onto the snow around the fallen beasts, marking the circle of death with red fire. She places bones upright in the ground, pointing skyward, as if to remind the spirits of their journey. Her chants weave with the crackle of flames and the low murmur of hunters speaking in half whispers. You sit by one of the fires, hands raw from cutting, the smell of blood soaked into your skin. The taste of smoke and iron fills your mouth. A piece of roasted meat passes to you, its fat dripping, and you bite without hesitation. The warmth fills your stomach, driving out the ache of hunger, settling into your bones. The hunters' faces flicker in the firelight, weary, lined with grief for Terran, but alive. Alive because of what has been taken. Alive because of what you all endured together. Your father sits across from you. His eyes meet yours over the fire. This time he does not look away. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, he nods. A simple gesture, yet it carries more than words ever could. You stare into the flames. The heat pricks your face, but behind the sting lies something steady, something new. You struck your first spear. You stood in the storm of beasts and blood, and now you sit among hunters as one of them. The night deepens. Stars wheel above the frozen plain. Cold and endless, but the circle of fire holds against the dark, and in the quiet between chants and the hiss of burning dung, you feel it. The bond between the living and the dead, between hunter and hunted, between yourself and all who came before. The circle has claimed you, and you have stepped inside. The morning after the hunt, the plain is silent save for the rasp of ravens tearing at scraps left behind. Frost has sealed the wounds of the earth, whitening the blood-stained snow. Your band rises early, shoulders bent beneath heavy loads of meat and hide. The air bites with sharp cold, so dry it cracks your lips, but you are warmer than before. A warmth that is not from fire alone, but from the knowledge of survival bought by your spears. The return to camp is slow. Each step is measured, boots sinking deep into drift and crunching over frozen ground. Leather straps cut into your shoulders, binding the weight of mammoth flesh against your back. The smell clings to you. Coppery blood, musky hide. A scent you know will linger for days. It marks you as hunter now. Children run ahead as you approach the camp, their laughter breaking against the solemn quiet of your band.
Their cries echo, "Meat! Meat has come!"
Women emerge from hide shelters, faces drawn with hunger but breaking into smiles as they see the loads you carry. The smell of roasting marrow soon fills the camp, smoke curling into the sky, mixing with the steam of boiling fat. Bones crack open with sharp blows of stone, releasing warmth and nourishment. The band gathers around the fires, hands outstretched, eyes shining with relief. You eat among them, not at the edge as before. The meat is hot, dripping grace down your wrist. Elders praise the spirit of the hunt, offering pieces first to children, then to the old, before the rest eat their fill. It is a quiet ritual of balance, of respect. You chew slowly, each bite anchoring you deeper in the circle. Days pass, and life settles back into rhythm. Hides are stretched on frames, pegged with sharpened bone to dry in the cold air. Fat is rendered in stone vessels, the liquid gold stored for lamps and for winter. Meat is smoked over low fires, its scent winding through camp. You take your turn at each task, scraping hide, turning meat, fletching shafts with sinew pulled from mammoth legs. Your hands, once clumsy, begin to find surety in motion. Hunting tools lie scattered in camp, flint blades sharper than any tooth, bone needles threaded with sinew, spear points ground smooth on sandstone. You handle them with growing familiarity. The atlat, once awkward in your grip, now feels like an extension of your arm. You test throws into the snow, each cast cleaner, truer as your father watches without words. His silence is no longer distant, it is approving. Rates. Mara leads a small group into the cave one evening, ochre and charcoal in her satchel. You follow, Rates, carrying a lamp made from carved stone filled with tallow and a burning wick of moss. The cave swallows sound, Rates, the air heavy with damp earth and faint smoke. Shadows dance along the walls as flames flicker, throwing light over old paintings, Rates. Beson stamped in ochre, reindeer etched in black, mammoths looming in red. You watch as Mara grinds pigment between stones, mixing it with fat. Rates. She presses her palm, coated in red, against the wall, leaving a handprint among dozens already there. She gestures for you. Your heart beats faster as you press your palm into ochre, then lift it, warm and sticky. You lay your hand against the stone. When you pull back, the mark remains. Your presence fixed among ancestors, your spirit joined to theirs. The others murmur softly, reverently. Rates. You breathe the scent of smoke and pigment, the mineral tang of rock. You feel the cool stone under your hand, yet the warmth of connection lingers. Rates. You are no longer just a boy waiting at the fire. You are a part of the story. Back in camp, time carries forward. Snow deepens. The days shorten. Rates. Each morning you wake to the sharp sting of cold air in your lungs, the crunch of frost beneath fur blankets. Each evening you sit among hunters, Rates, listening more than speaking, when they trade stories of aurochs taken at river crossings, Rates, of reindeer that nearly slipped the nets. You follow the rhythm of their words, the pauses where meaning lies deeper than sound. Rates. Dalen sits beside you often now, his laughter quieter than before, but more sure. He speaks of the hunt with a new steadiness. His doubt faded. You find comfort in his company, in the way silence no longer feels empty between you. There are no songs of glory, no feasts of triumph. Only rhythms. Work, hunt, share, rest. Yet within that rhythm you find something steady. Where once your hands trembled, now they are firm. Rates. Where once you lingered at the edges, now you sit within the circle. One night, as snow falls soft and endless, you sit by the fire with your father, Rates. He sharpens a flint point, the scrape steady against the stone. He glances at you, then offers the blade. His voice is low, calm. Rates. Finish it. You take the stone, guiding the edge with careful strikes. The flake falls clean, the edge sharp. You hand it back. He weighs it in his palm, then sets it aside. He does not smile, but he nods once. The fire crackles. Smoke curls upward. Rates. Carrying with it the smell of fat and wood. You breathe deep, letting it fill you. The silence between you and your father holds not distance, Rates, but understanding. In the days that follow, you notice how your steps fall in rhythm with the band's, how your breath matches theirs in the cold, Rates, how your voice, when it joins theirs, carries weight, Rates. The boy who trembled before his first throw has given way to someone else, not yet fully grown, but no longer standing outside the circle, Rates. You have begun to adapt, not by becoming someone new, but by becoming more yourself. And as the snow thickens around the camp, Rates, you feel the circle holding you steady, its rhythm guiding you forward. The snows deepen, swallowing the ground until every step is labor, Rates. Each breath burns cold in your chest. Each night demands fire that never falters. Yet your band endures, carrying with it the wealth of the mammoth, Rates, the hides stretched and drying, the meat smoked and stored. The circle of your people moves slowly through the valleys, Rates, following the curve of the Dordong River, where water still flows black beneath its crust of ice. Days fold into nights, nights into days, Rates. The world is a quiet expanse of white and grey, broken only by the cries of ravens and the prints of wolves. But then, at last, Rates, you crest a ridge and see its smoke rising from the cliffs ahead, threads of it twisting skyward from the mouths of caves. Rates. Shapes move near the entrance. Other bands gathered for the winter, their fires glowing faintly against the stone. Your people pause, Rates. The sight is both welcome and daunting. You are not alone in this land. Others walk it, trade across it, tell stories through it. Some faces will be kin, known from seasons past. Others will be strangers, their dialects strange, their ornaments unlike your own. But the caves promise shelter, warmth, community. You descend toward them. The smell reaches you first, smoke thick and pungent, brates layered with animal fat and tallow. Then sound, the low murmur of voices carried on cold air, the rhythmic thump of stone striking stone. Finally, brates. Light, the flicker of flames spilling from cave mouths, staining the snow orange. As your band enters the circle of firelight, greetings rise, brates. A woman draped in wolf furs clasps Mara's arms, their foreheads touching in silence before words follow. Children dart from cave to cave, shouting, brates, laughing, carrying scraps of bone. The air is busy, alive with movement, with the mingling of many lives. Inside the caves, brates. The stone walls glow in the shifting fire. Paintings crowd the ceilings. Mammoths, aurochs, horses etched in lines of ochre and black, brates. You tilt your head back, dizzy with the sheer number of them. They seem to move in the firelight, as if caught mid-stride, brates. Spirits frozen yet breathing through pigment. Your father trades quietly with another man, passing a length of mammoth sinew in exchange for a bundle of flint nodules sharp and pale. Nearby, brates. Women share pigments, red ochre from one valley, yellow clay from another. Shell beads pass hand to hand, glimmering faintly in the fire's glow, brates. It is a reminder that even in this hard land, networks stretch far, connecting tribe to tribe, valley to valley. The air is crowded with smells, smoke, brates. Roasted meat, damp hide, the faint mineral tang of stone. Heat from many fires battles the cold, though icy draughts slip through the cave's mouth, brates. You pull your furs closer, the weight of them heavy but comforting. A great fire is lit in the largest chamber. Tribes gather in a wide circle, brates, each band settling into its place. You find yourself among them, shoulder pressed to Dalen's, your father close by, brates. Mara takes her place near the flames, her staff upright, feathers catching the firelight. She chants low, the rhythm rising and falling, brates, echoing in the stone chamber until voices from other bands join. The sound is vast, layered, many voices becoming one. You feel it in your chest, brates, the vibration sinking into bone. It is not just your band now, not just your father's voice or Mara's chants. It is a chorus of tribes, brates, bound together by winter, by survival, by the endless need for life to continue. You close your eyes. For a moment, you see again the bull mammoth, brates, its breath steaming in the cold, its eyes dark as earth. You see Taran's hand slip from his spear. You see your own palm, pressed in ochre to stone, brates, burning bright against the cave wall. And then you open your eyes to the fire, to the many faces flickering in its light. This is arrival, brates. Not the end of a journey, but the gathering of all the threads that carried you here. You are no longer a boy standing at the edge of hunters, brates. You sit within the circle, part of something vast, stretching beyond your band, beyond even yourself. The caves echo with song and flame, brates. The winter closes in outside, harsh and endless. But here in this place of smoke and stone, you belong. You are Kyle, and you have arrived. The cave is alive with sound. Fires snap and pop, their smoke rising in thin threads toward the ceiling where beson and mammoths loom in ochre, brates. Voices hum in steady rhythm, low and layered, punctuated by the rattle of bone and the scrape of stone. The gathered tribes move like a great body, brates. Many hands tending meat, shaping tools, and fanning flames. You wake each morning to the same mingled scent, smoke thick in your hair, brates. Damp fur heavy with frost at the cave mouth. The sour tang of tallow lamps burning through the night. It should feel crowded, overwhelming even, brates. But instead there is a strange steadiness in it. Where once your world was only your band of 25, now it stretches wider, into faces unfamiliar, words spoken with different cadence. Ornaments carved in styles your eye is still learning to follow. The work never stops. Hunters move in and out, trading fresh meat for stone blades. Women sew furs together, bone needles piercing hide in swift, sure motions. Children gather scraps of sinew and small bones, making toys, brates, or practicing knots that will one day bind sleds and spears. You move among them with purpose, no longer lingering at the edges, brates. It is Dalen who draws you into your first teaching. A boy no more than 12 winters hovers near, clutching a blunt, tipped spear. His arms are thin, his eyes too wide, and the older hunters laugh as he tries to balance the shaft on his palm. Dalen nudges you forward, brates. Show him, he says quietly. You hesitate, But then your hands move as if they already know the path. You take the spear, Brates. Show the boy how to shift his grip, how to use the weight of the atlal to drive the shaft. You demonstrate the arc. Slow, Brates. Deliberate. Then place the tool in his hands. He fumbles, but you steady him, guiding the motion. The throw is clumsy, Brates. But the boy's face lights with pride when the spear bites the snow, point first, even a short distance away. Others notice, Brates. A man from another band watches you with narrowed eyes, then nods once. It is not a smile, but it is something. Recognition, small and quiet, Brates. That evening, the hunters sit together by the fire, sharpening points, scraping hides, Brates. You share your flint flakes with another boy your age from a distant band. He shows you a different knot for lashing stone to shaft. Tighter, more secure against the strain of impact. You learn it quickly, then teach it to Dalen. The motion smooth now between your fingers, Brates. Knowledge passes back and forth, like fire carried from torch to torch. Mara watches from the far side of the fire. Her eyes follow you as you work, Brates. As you speak, as you listen more than you talk. Later, she lays a hand on your shoulder as you rise. Her voice is low, meant only for you, Brates. You carry more than your own life now. Her words settle into you like embers. You think of the boy's clumsy throw, Brates. Of the knot tied stronger than before. Of the way Dalen laughed at his own mistakes. Softer now, less sharp with fear. You think of Taran, Brates, and how his hand once reached to steady you. The circle turns, and now it is your hand extending to steady another. The days grow colder still, Brates. Ice creeps thick along the river, sealing its surface except where currents churn black beneath. Each morning, hunters break holes in the crust, Brates, lowering bone hooks baited with scraps. Each evening, smoke curls into the sky from the caves, carrying the smell of roasting flesh and rendered fat, Brates. Survival is never easy, never certain. Yet here, with many tribes gathered, there is resilience. You feel it in your bones. You are part of that resilience now. One night, a story is told by a man with hair bound in sinew cords, his voice deep and even, Brates. He speaks of a hunt years past, when mammoths turned against the hunters, trampling spears, scattering men. His hands move in the firelight, shadows shaping beasts on the stone walls. The children sit spellbound, eyes wide, breath caught in their throats. At one point he falters, Brates, and without thinking, you add a word, a gesture, recalling how the mammoth's breath steams in the air, how their tusks gleam wet in firelight, Brates. The man pauses, glances at you, then continues, weaving your image into his tale. For a moment you feel the weight of many eyes on you. Children, Brates, hunters, elders. You do not shrink from it. Your name is not yet spoken as one of the great hunters. It may never be. But it is carried quietly now, Brates. Passed among others in glances and nods. In the stories they tell around the flames. You are no longer the boy waiting for approval. No longer the son standing in his father's shadow. You are Kyle, who steadied a boy's throw. Kyle, who learned and then taught again. Kyle, who stood in the circle and did not step away. It is small, but it is enough. And in this new world, of smoke, thick caves, of many voices, Brates, of fire shared against the endless winter, your small steps matter. The fire crackles. The air smells of marrow and char. Your eyes grow heavy, Brates. As you drift, you hear the boy outside practicing again, his laughter echoing faintly against the cave walls, Brates. And you rest knowing that something of you now lives in him. It comes not with drums, nor chants, nor the painted awe of mammoth walls. It comes quietly, as so many things in life do. The storm has passed. Outside, snow lies thick and blue beneath the pale moon. Inside the cave, Brates, the fires burn low, embers glowing like 1,000 small suns in the ash. The tribes rest, some wrapped in furs, some murmuring in their dreams, Brates. Children curled like fox kits against their mothers' sides. The air is heavy with smoke, but warm, safer than the night beyond, Brates. You sit with Dalen near the dying fire, both of you mending broken spear thongs. His fingers work clumsily, Brates. But he no longer shakes as he did weeks before. The weight that once bent his shoulders has eased, replaced by something steadier. He glances at you, Brates mutters, "You've grown taller, Kyle." You laugh, soft and surprised. "No, Brates. You've just grown smaller." It is a jest, but one he takes in stride, rolling his eyes and grinning. A grin that only recently has found its way back to his face. The grief is not gone from him, but the shadow no longer smothers every moment. Others drift near, settling into the glow. A woman from another band offers you dried berries, a rare sweetness. A boy presses into your palm a shell bead, smooth and cool. From seas he says lie many journeys away. You trace its curve, wondering how many hands it has passed through, how many fires it has seen. It is not much, yet in this place of scarcity, it feels like treasure. Then Mara's voice rises, not in command, not in ritual, but in song. The shaman's daughter sings low, the kind of song meant for the hush of night, not the echo of caves. Her voice threads through the chamber, weaving with the crackle of fire, the sigh of sleepers, the faint drip of melted ice at the mouth of the cavern. It tells no story, you know, only a rhythm of breath, a reminder of heartbeat, of belonging. You close your eyes, and for the first time in many moons, your mind does not replay the hunt's terror, or your father's absence, or the weight of doubt. Instead, you see the glow of ochre animals racing along stone walls, You feel the press of many hands against your shoulders. You hear the laugh of children mimicking hunters' throws in the snow, It is then you realize this is the reward, not glory, not triumph, not a beast brought down by your own spear, but this, being folded into something larger than yourself, the warmth of many lives carried together through the long winter, the knowledge that your voice, your hand, your presence, now add to the song of the people. Later, as you drift towards sleep, you dream. In the dream, the cave paintings shimmer, their ochre lines glowing brighter, the beast stepping from the walls as if alive. A mammoth lowers its head toward you, its eye dark and gentle. A bison bellows, but the sound is not fury, it is welcome. You reach out, and your hand touches paint, stone, and fur all at once. The creatures bow, then fade back into the walls, leaving behind only the steady beat of your heart. When you wake, the fire has burned to ash, and the first light of dawn filters faintly into the cave. For the first time, you feel not only that you belong, but that you are part of the circle shaping what comes next. This is the gift the spirits gave you, This is the gift your people have given, and it is enough. The cave is hushed now. Only the slow crackle of the last coals remains, glowing faintly in the ash. Around you, your people breathe in unison, their chests rising and falling beneath furs, a small sea of warmth against the vast cold that waits outside. You pull the hide closer around your shoulders. The scent of smoke clings to it, steady and familiar like an anchor to the waking world. The stone beneath you is cool, but softened by moss and skin, You feel the weight of the long journey behind you. The hunts, the storms, the doubts, all pressed into the fibers of your body, yet quiet now, like footprints being slowly covered by falling snow. A draft moves through the cavern mouth, gentle and silver, carrying with it the smell of pine and ice. It brushes your cheek the way a parent might, not sharp, not cruel, just a reminder that the world turns even as you rest, your eyes close. You hear the faintest trickle of water from the stone walls, a rhythm older than memory. You think of painted shapes hidden deep in the cave's heart. Mammoth, bison, reindeer. Forever running, forever alive in ochre lines. They are not gone. They live as you live, carried in each breath, each song, each fire. You breathe deeper, slower, The cold outside does not matter. The hunger, the distance, the shadows do not matter. Here there is warmth. Here there is belonging, In this moment, you are not just Kyle, the hunter in training. You are Kyle, son of the fire, brother to the mammoth, child of the tribe. You are one thread in the great weave, strong because all are woven together. The night folds around you like a blanket, heavy and kind. Your body softens, the stone beneath you no longer cold but steady, grounding. Your breath joins the rhythm of the sleepers around you. The journey is complete. The circle has closed, you have made it, and now you rest,